welcome to Very Terrible. Today we're going to talk about the Qwilfish featuring the new Articuno from Pokemon Go with the Ice Symbol ability, allowing to do 10 more damage to your opponent's active Pokemon each time you attack with your basic water Pokemon. So we're using this card with our Qwilfish and Weepinbell Combo, doing Venoshock for 70 base damage, plus 10 more for each Articuno on your bench, and another 30 from the special condition. So that's actually equal to 130 damage for only 1 energy, doing Venoshock for a basic Pokemon, which is pretty strong. And after attacking with this Pokemon, we actually get to use our Basculin to collect the knockout with Swarm the Wound, doing 30 base damage, plus 10 more for each damage on your opponent's active Pokemon, and also 10 more for each Articuno on your bench, and another 30 with Choice Belt plus a special condition. So we're only playing 1 copy of Choice Belt, and we should be attaching it to our Qwilfish, just because we need to be using our experience share for our Basculin, unless if we're lucky enough to play that 1 copy of Raihan or Blanche at just the right time for that extra 1 energy. We also have our star supporter for this deck, Irida, to help us search for any water Pokemon from the deck, and an additional item card. That means we can search for our Articuno, Qwilfish, Basculin, or 𝑪𝒐𝒅𝒔, or even Radiant Greninja. For the item, we can either search for our tool card, level ball for Weepinbell, scuba net to recycle our abilities, or even our bucket, rod, or escape rope. To set up our bench, we have 4 VP Pass, 2 quick ball, 3 capture, 1 Hisuian heavy ball, 4 level ball, 1 Gloria, and 1 Sonia. For the switch, we have 2 air balloons, 1 escape rope, and 2 scoop up net. For our draw support, we have 2 Bruno, 1 Cynthia, 2 Marnie, 1 Research, 1 Blanche, and 1 Radiant Greninja. Finally, we're also playing 1 Boss's Order, 1 Training Card, and 6 basic water energy. So that's all for the deck list, and be sure to grab yourself some packs from our sponsor at XTrainer90 Team to build your very own deck from any cards in format. They even sell online codes for character rares, full art, and gold cards to expand your collection. So check out the link in the description below, or click on the top right corner of this video to enhance your PTCG experience. Use code BTT for 5% off any products to get yourself some lovely cards. And now for the moment of truth, let's go for some gameplays! Okay, let's go for our first game versus Decidueye VSTAR. They got Marshtomp, Swampert with Decidueye, Swampert doing Muddy Maker for that extra 1 energy. You get to attach either a water or a fighting energy from your hand with the ability. It is a stage 2 card though, so they need a rare candy, Irida. But with that extra 1 energy, you actually get to play either Gutsy Pickaxe, Raihan, or Experience Share to attack with your second Decidueye, with your second VSTAR right after the first one gets knocked out. Your first one obviously needs a double turbo, or maybe on your second turn, you can actually choose to play the evolution, the rare candy evolution, plus a double energy attachment if you have 2 energies in your hand, in addition to an Irida or something like that. So you actually need a lot of energy in the deck, because Decidueye requires you to discard energies from your hand for the extra damage. So if you want to do 30 more for each energy discarded, you actually only get to do up to 90 plus damage. So you can't do more than 90 with the effect of the attack. The max damage you get to do with Decidueye is only 250 without the Choice Belt and without Grant. So you actually get to do 60 more with those 2 effects, with the tool card and also with your supporter effect, supporter boost. And if you hit with Hawlucha, if you have Radiant Hawlucha on your bench, if they don't play Path to the Peak, if you have the stadium spot cleared from Path, that means you get to hit 30 more with your Big Match ability against VMAX cards. So that's 250 plus 60, which is equal to 310 against VMAX. Without your Radiant Hawlucha, you actually get to hit any V Pokemon Blissey as well for 310, which is pretty cool. Killing a Blissey with 1 hit, and then you actually get to also kill a VMAX with 340 HP, having Hawlucha on your bench. So you actually need to play a lot of cards though. You need your draw support in order to play your Grant, just because it is a supporter card. If you're playing Grant just to add damage, not drawing any other cards, you need to be able to have something like a Bibarel or Radiant Venusaur, something to draw enough cards into your hand, because Star Fortune only works once. You only get to play that ability once per game. Throughout the entire game, it only lets you use it once. And after that first, after using it for the first time, how are you gonna hit for another 340 damage for the second VMAX knockout, for the second VSTAR with Big Charm attack, with Big Charm attached, my bad. How are you gonna kill the second VSTAR and the third one if they have big charms and damage boosts like Abomasnow? Well, there's no VSTAR, single strike VSTAR, right? So Abomasnow doesn't actually work for VSTARs. But we have Kricketune. So if they, for example, play a Shaymin VSTAR with big charm, they actually have 320 HP, or like a Lilligant with big charm. Lilligant with big charm has like 330 HP, so that's quite a lot. and you actually need both. Well, it's actually not enough to kill it, is it? I don't think Decidueye can kill a Lilligant if they have a Kricketune in play and a big charm attached. So it is actually pretty weak, just because there's no way you can kill Lilligant with one hit. Unless if you play damage counters like Zigzagoon, Gabe Jawbox, stuff like that. O73, there is a lot of ways though. You can even play Radiant Blastoise because you are playing Water Energy in your deck as well. Radiant Blastoise, Melanie with Swampert would be pretty interesting to watch, but you actually need the draw though. So draw support Radiant Greninja is kind of essential if you are playing nothing but Swampert and Radiant Decidueye. Swampert and Hisuian Decidueye. So I don't think you have the space for a barrel. Snorlax is not really good. I don't like Snorlax because you're wasting an entire turn just to draw. And your opponent playing a Marnie can actually either choose to Marnie or boss you. And either case would be pretty terrible because you're down to 5 cards on your next turn. That's not enough for you to do your attack. Decidueye, I forgot the attack, but it's not enough for you to discard 3 energies if you don't play Training Card. And even with Training Card, you need 2 more energies in your hand. You're going to run out of those energies eventually. And what are you going to do after that? You're playing a Stage 2, you need so many item cards just to make that work. Irida, Rare Candy, Incense. You need a lot of Pokemons in your deck as well. Like 2 or 3 copies of your V and V-Star. Probably 3. I would prefer a solid 3 copies if I'm playing, you know, a V-Star deck. But anyways, I'm way too focused on their deck. Let's focus on our deck now. So we are playing our Qwilfish and Articuno combo, and we actually killed the first Decidueye, doing Venoshock twice for 120 damage, I think. I think we only get to hit 100 damage. 90, my bad. 90 damage plus 33 more damage counter from the special condition, which is actually a total of 120 damage. So do not underestimate the special condition because you are actually adding 30 more with your burn and poison. So Dangerous Mucus can actually add damage, essentially. And if you have, for example, your Basculin attacking on your next turn, you actually just need an experience share. If you have 13 damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon, 13 is all you need. So either play your choice belt for your Qwilfish, or have 3 Articunos on your bench, right? If you have 3 Articunos, you get to do 100 damage with Qwilfish, doing Venoshock, if they are poison, obviously, and then play your Weepinbell. Weepinbell actually gets to hit 30 more damage with that burn poison condition. So that's equal to 130 damage, and if they don't switch, you actually get 10 more from the poison. If they don't heal their Pokemon, you actually get to knock them out. Even if they're a V-Star, you still get to kill them with Basculin, because Basculin is doing 130 plus 30 more from the base damage and another 30 from Articuno. So that's 60 extra damage. So that's 260 because you're multiplied by 2, doing 10 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon. That's essentially, multiplying the damage counter by 2. So 13 damage counter, it becomes 26. And 260, that means you're adding 60 more damage from the base and Articuno's ability. That's equal to 320 damage. 320 after Swarm the Wound is enough to knock out any VMAX. Well, obviously the low HP VMAX, the average VMAXs, if they are playing Urshifu, you actually need 10 more, unfortunately. That means you need like 4 solid copies of your Articuno on the bench, or either that, or you need to play Raihan with Choice Belt. Raihan with Choice Belt to play your Swarm the Wound for extra 30 damage. That would be a total of 350 damage enough to kill any VMAX. So 350 is a lot, and if you play Choice Belt with Articuno doing Venoshock, you actually get to hit more than 130 damage on your last turn. And if you do 140 or even 150 with your Venoshock, inclusive of the poison burn condition, 150 damage, if they have 15 damage counter on their active Pokemon, Swarm the Wound is enough to kill them for sure, because you have 30 base damage, you have 30 more damage with your Articuno, you're doing 60 more, in addition to that 150 damage. So that's equal to 360. So this is a 2-hit knockout strategy. We are actually killing V-Star and VMAX, obviously targeting VMAXs because we want to be hitting for that 3 prize knockout after 2 turns, which is actually a lot. So we may actually need to play more Boss's Order in this deck just because they may decide to switch and do a Crystal Cave or something like that. So Mimikyu heal jamming is actually pretty good, but we can't actually afford to play that card for this deck just because we need to bench as many Articunos as we can for as much damage boost as we can fit into our attacks. Because if we do only 90 damage, we are only having 12 damage counter on our opponent's active Pokemon if they do the switch and retreat. If they don't retreat though, we got that 10 extra damage from the poison, and that's actually enough to kill a VSTAR, a VMAX with 320 HP with your Swarm the Wound. That's why we are playing 2 copies of Basculin in this deck and 1 Rod to shuffle it back, because Basculin is actually quite important. If we play nothing but Qwilfish, it wouldn't be enough to kill with 2 strikes, not even a V-Star. Not even a V-Star, because you need 4 Articunos every single turn, and that's actually quite difficult to pull off, just because they can play Avery, Collapse Stadium, and we can't afford to play that many Rod in this deck, because we want to be focusing more on Basculin. You can actually switch your strategy into playing nothing but Qwilfish and add more Rod and Rescue Carrier, Clara as well. Rescue Carrier doesn't work with Articuno though, so if you discard too many Articunos, you need to play Clara, Rod to shuffle them back, or, you know, bench them all over again. So to get 40 extra damage from your Venoshock, and that's actually a total of 110 damage plus 3 more damage counter from the poison, 140, which is not bad. Twice in a row, you actually get to kill a V-Star with 2 strikes, but you need way more Scoop Up Nets, way more Weepinbell just to make that strategy work. So it's actually pretty risky to rely on Weepinbell if you have only 1 Bellsprout on your bench. I'm quite sad that there is no tool card that allows you to poison your opponent's Pokemon if they damage your Pokemon with that tool card attached. That used to be a Poison Barb. I'm not sure why it gets cut out. Standard has no more Poison Barb tool card. Like, it's just terrible now. There's no Poison Barb. And without Poison Barb, you cannot attach it to your Bellsprout. And Bellsprout, if they boss it, then they are not poisoned on the next turn because they are not hitting your Qwilfish. Qwilfish actually does have the Poison Point ability. That means if they damage your Qwilfish, even if it's knocked out, they actually have to poison their active Pokemon. And that means you got to do even more damage with your Venoshock on the next turn. Well, obviously, the extra damage. Not even more, but the extra damage. 70 base plus 30 more for your 3 copies of Articuno on the bench. But normally we would have only 2 Articunos just because we need the bench support. And if we don't need the mana fee though, we would be having Bellsprout on the bench anyways. So probably 2 copies of Articuno on the bench is enough. Because if they don't switch, you got that 10 extra damage from the poison. And that's equal to 13 damage counter on the active Pokemon. If they do switch though, you can boss it on the next turn and Swarm the Wound with a Choice Belt maybe, or without a Choice Belt, you actually get to still hit 180 damage with your Swarm the Wound, which is not bad. And 180 is enough to kill a Blissey. If they don't heal their Pokemon, obviously Blissey is going to play heal cards, so we can't actually win a Blissey. It's basically impossible if they do heal. If they heal with Heatran VMAX, with Honey, with Lucky Eyes Pop, with Cook, with any other cards like, you know, Yell Towel, if they heal their Pokemon, we have no chance of winning this game. So this deck is a 2-hit KO strategy, and we are not doing a lot of damage, but we are, you know, basically adding those tiny damage counters, which is doing a lot in the long run. Eventually killing their Pokemon, kind of like a surprise knockout. Because you wouldn't be expecting Articuno to do that much. It's only 10 extra damage, but it actually adds up to the knockout. It adds up for Basculin to collect the knockout. It adds up for Qwilfish's attack, because if you do 10 more with Qwilfish, that's actually 20 more with Basculin, right? It's essentially 20 more with Basculin. So 1 Articuno equals 10 more for Qwilfish, and that 1 Articuno actually equals 20 for your Basculin on your next turn. Okay, right now we actually made a mistake on this turn. We should have put our Basculin in the active and then retreated, because we have a training card. They actually gave us a training card. We actually haven't played our training card yet, I think. We have a training card in the deck, but we haven't played it yet. We only are playing one copy, so they actually gave us the training card. We should be retreating with the Basculin, and then retrieving the energy from the discard pile to do Moonlight Shuriken this turn, because we have a boss in our hand. So Moonlight Shuriken actually gave us one extra prize from the Mudkip knockout, because they have no Manaphy on the bench. We can kill the Mudkip for that extra one prize, and then boss the Decidueye, the V-Star on the bench later if they attack with the second V-Star. We get, or the third one, I think. I think it's actually the third V-Star, my bad. If they, well, we killed the first V card without the evolution. So they didn't evolve the first one. That means they got the second V-Star inside the deck still, I think. So if they attack with the second V-Star, we can actually do the boss and then swarm the wound for the knockout, collecting the last 2 prize for the win. Because we have a boss in our hand already. We just need to play Moonlight Shuriken this turn and not do anything else. Because if they play a Marnie, we are probably going to draw it back anyways with our Raiding Greninja. But they probably are going to do either a Marnie and the knockout. Because if we attack with Greninja, they're probably going to kill our Greninja anyways. Or they're going to do boss to kill the Basculin. So either way, we would be screwed. So maybe it would actually be better for us to hit it right now with our Basculin and then Moonlight Shuriken on the next turn. We got lucky for this game though, because they actually ran out of their rare candies. And as you can see right now, or in a moment later, in a few moments, you'll see that they are actually playing an Irida. There we go. They actually played an Irida. That means they actually get to do rare candy a third time if they got the third copy of rare candy in the deck. But unfortunately, they couldn't pull it off. It was a bit sad because they didn't even got Marshtomp in the deck. So no rare candy, no Marshtomp. I think they have more rare candies in the deck, but maybe it's prized. They only have 9 cards left though. Or maybe it's still inside the deck. And there's no way to draw it out because we actually killed the Raiding Greninja. So they need to play some other supporter card. And they already played one. Irida is a supporter. So that means they cannot... well, they actually searched the deck though. It's not inside the deck for sure. That means it's either prize or they may not play that many rare candies. I think they only used one though. Did they use 2 rare candies or did they use 1? I'm not too sure. So Moonlight Shuriken for the knockout here. We actually got the win, doing Raiding Greninja for a 3 prize knockout. So we're hitting 110 damage on the active because we have 2 Articunos on the bench. And Articuno only works on your opponent's active Pokemon. You're only doing extra damage to their active, not their bench. It's important to know that. So Raiding Greninja is not doing extra damage to the bench. If you target 2 bench Pokemon, you're only doing 90 to both of those Pokemons without Telescopic Sight. If they don't play a Manaphy. Otherwise, you're doing 0 damage, obviously. So for this list, we actually have 3 Choice Belt, I think, and not that many. I don't think we have any Experience Share for this list. This game is a bit different because we are not playing Experience Share, and we only have 1 Blanche, 1 Raihan for that 1 Basculin. We even have only 3, I think, only 3 Qwilfish and 1 Basculin, but we do have 2 rods to shuffle them back. No Clara, but 2 rods, 1 extra rod. We got Heavy Ball for the first turn. So this is actually quite, you know, one of the earliest build for this combo. When I first experimented with this deck, I actually got matched up against Lucario. And Lucario is actually the perfect matchup because they are damaging their own Pokemon with Roaring Resolve. That means all we need to do is hit 100 damage, which is quite low for a knockout. And since we are playing a 1 energy attacker, we can actually hit very fast. All we need to do is attack first. And since they are evolving, since they need to evolve, and since we went first, we get to hit, we get to strike with our Weepinbell. All we need to do is bench a Bellsprout on our first turn and we're good to go. So whoever evolves first wins the game. That's basically it. They are playing a stage 1 though. That means they actually need to not just attack first and collect their first prize early, but also they need to keep on shuffling their Lucario into the deck, shuffling their energy cards as well. They only need 2 energies though. They just need 2 energies to kill any of our Pokemons because 130 is enough to kill the Articuno, anything for that matter. And we are playing a full 1 prize deck as well, but we have Manaphy, so if they play something like Raiding Greninja, we can protect our bench. But they are playing Fighting Energy, so I don't think they're hitting our bench. So they need to play enough rods in the deck, and they need to play it at the right time. They are playing Bibarel though, which is quite easy. That means they can draw, they can, you know, basically get the rod at just the right time to do the shuffle for the energy, and also to revive their Lucarios. Because if they stop attacking for just one turn, then we can actually pick up the pace and race past them in terms of the prize. We can collect we can collect our prize faster, and we actually win the game. We can win the game with, you know, one prize versus a one prize, if you just pass the turn not doing anything. So it's basically down to who attacks first, or who passes a turn doing nothing. You can actually trap your opponent if they play 2 energy retreat Pokemons. You can still trap them by doing a boss on the Articuno. That's why I actually prefer playing enough switch cards for a deck. If you're playing one prize, especially for some reason, if you're playing one prize, they don't like you to get your resources. We are playing Irida though, so Irida actually helps you get your item cards much easier. That means we don't actually need that many switch cards, but we do have a Scoop Up Net in addition to our 2 copies of Air Balloon and that 1 Escape Rope, so it's not too bad. Irida actually helps you get either your Air Balloon, Escape Rope, or even Scoop Up Net for the retreat effect, and also to recycle your Dangerous Mucus ability, or even Radiant Greninja. You can also scoop up your Radiant Greninja to do concealed cards a second time for extra draws. If you want to get more cards from the deck, if you want to draw, for example, a VIP on your first turn, sometimes it's better to do that. I don't know, because if they kill your Qwilfish, they actually are poisoning their own Pokemon, and if they get poisoned, we don't need our Weepinbell anymore. We don't need Weepinbell if they kill our Qwilfish on the last turn, because we are doing extra damage with Articuno anyways. We may not be able to do enough though, but that 2 extra damage counter is actually already in the game. All we need is an extra Articuno probably, and then Raihan onto the Basculin, because we have a Weepinbell stuck on the bench though. So not enough Scoop Up Net is actually quite bad. We only have 2 copies for this deck, unfortunately. I would prefer to have 3 copies of Scoop Up Net, just because Weepinbell being stuck on the bench is actually quite a bad thing. And even if you have a Bellsprout on the bench, they can quite easily do a boss. So this deck is actually not that perfect, just because if you don't bench 2 Bellsprout, you cannot poison and burn their active that easily, because Boss's Order is that common in Standard, especially with Arceus V-Star, Starbirth, Shady Dealings. They can search for it quite easily now. And also, we need another extra spot for either Radiant Greninja or Basculin with that experience share attached. And that means we cannot afford to bench that many Articunos or even have that many Bellsprout on the bench. I would prefer having Hypnotoxic Laser back in format, but there's no such thing as a Hypnotoxic Laser. There's no such thing as like a reverse Spicy Curry. You know, I would love to see a card like that, a reverse Spicy Curry, where it actually heals your opponent's active Pokemon. You get to recover damage from your opponent's active Pokemon, but they are effectively burned. You know, that would be pretty cool, but we actually can't hit for extra damage if they are burned though. Venoshock only works if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned. So if they are not poisoned, specifically poisoned, you don't get to do extra damage with that attack. You only get to do 10 damage for 1 colorless. They have to be poisoned. And there's not a lot of abilities or tool cards. There's no trainer cards that allow you to poison your opponent's active. There used to be Koga, Poison Barb, there used to be Hypnotoxic Laser, but now there's nothing. Nothing at all. Terrible. Now there's only Burning Scarf for the burn effect. Nothing else that I can think of. We have pretty cool effects though. Big Parasol, Billowing Smoke. I quite like that tool card. I love Billowing Smoke, which is pretty cool. Back when VMAXs was a thing, Billowing Smoke is actually pretty useful, because you are discarding all of their prize card that they draw. That means if they drew 3 prize card by killing your VMAX, they actually, if you attach your Billowing Smoke to your VMAX Pokemon, not your opponent, my bad, you actually have to play VMAX yourself, And then if you attach that tool card onto your VMAX, if they kill it, they actually have to discard all the prize cards that they draw. Unless if they play Tool Scrapper, Tool Jammer, obviously. And that actually means if they have a dead hand, they cannot save themselves by doing a knockout. So sometimes if you have a dead hand, you can either choose to play abilities or attacks that help you draw cards into your hand, or you can choose to knock out your opponent's heavy prize Pokemon, something like a VMAX or a V-Star, or even a V card on the bench by doing a boss, to draw extra prize to draw extra cards into your hand from the prize. And Billowing Smoke is gonna deny you from doing that, which would be pretty cool. That's gonna be Barbaracle though. Barbaracle for the next set, Lost Barbaracle, I think. That allows you to put all prize cards their opponent draw into the Lost Zone. So if they knock out your Pokemon, they actually have to put any prize cards that they drew into the Lost Zone. That's gonna be quite interesting though. It is a stage 1, and I think that ability only works if you have like a certain amount of cards in the Lost Zone. So if your opponent put cards into the Lost Zone as well, that means Barbaracle's effect is gonna be much easier to activate, because it counts into the Lost Zone. It doesn't matter whose Pokemon or whose trainer cards is in the Lost Zone. As long as there are enough cards in the Lost Zone, Barbaracle's ability gets to be activated. I'm not sure if that is the criteria though for the ability to work. I actually forgot about the condition that actually helps you force your opponent to put prize cards into the Lost Zone. So if you guys want to check it out, go to PokeBeach, B-E-A-C-H. I don't know how to pronounce beach. PokeBeach, and go and look at the list for Lost Origin, Lost Abyss, and you'll find a Giratina V-Star, you'll find Barbaracle, you'll find a lot of lost cards in there as well. Cramorant. Let's just focus on what's happening right now. They got Mew for the draw support, kind of. Mew is not really a proper support though, because you need air balloons and scoop up net. There is more cards that allow you to play Mew, like Tracking Shoes, Rotom Phone, I guess. But it's pretty boring because it's kind of already done. People has already thought about it, and people are already using it, and it's already in the meta game. Dialga, Mew. Kind of boring that people are doing the same thing. But I guess sometimes you don't really have a choice. So if you are stuck in terms of draw support, I suppose Mew could help you in that sense. If you want to work out a different combo and then use that just to patch up your draw attack, to give you, sufficient cards in your hand to help you do enough, to help you race through your deck to get the right cards with Tracking Shoes, or even get the right items into your hand with Pokestop. So we're down to 2 prize, and they actually have 3 prize remaining. It's not looking too well for them. They got only 1 Lucario, a Riolu on the bench, and they cannot attack this turn because they didn't shuffle enough. They don't have a bench. They didn't bench a Lucario on the last turn. They didn't shuffle at the right time, and now they're stuck, giving us an extra turn for an extra knockout. So that's pretty bad. Unless if they play like a Raihan. If they do a boss though, they can kill the Bellsprout. So killing the Bellsprout is gonna earn them an extra turn. Well, not earn them an extra turn, but it's gonna help them basically catch up to us in a way, because we can't actually poison them, and that's actually gonna be a bit more difficult for us to kill them on the next turn. And I think they're actually doing it. I think they actually managed to do it. Boss the Bellsprout, because they are doing 50 damage with, I don't know what the attack is called. Punch? Oh, nope, they didn't do it. Okay, my bad. They didn't do it. So Bellsprout is only 50 HP. Watch out for that. They didn't attack us. We don't have our Weepinbell. I think we couldn't do anything for this turn. We are only, unfortunately, doing 30 damage to the Riolu. If they evolve, they're gonna kill us anyways. That means we get to do Venoshock. If they don't evolve, 30 damage is all we need to kill the Riolu. And we even have a capture for a third Articuno. So even if they have 70 HP, we would be able to kill the Riolu with Venoshock anyways, unless if they heal their Pokemon. You never know if they're playing fresh water in their attack. There we go, boss to kill the Bellsprout. I remember them doing that actually. I remember them doing that when I've played this game. So let's capture. We actually have a Radiant Venusaur for this deck. So I was actually kind of torn between Venusaur and Radiant Greninja, and eventually I decided to play Greninja with one copy of Training Card, because Training Card actually helps you get energies back from the discard pile, and you may not be able to get enough energies from the deck though. We did initially play 2 copies of Bucket and 1 Sonia for the energy, but I think we only had 9 energies. Only 3. I think right now we have 9 energies as well. Yeah, I think the final list has 9 energies. So it is the same, it's not different. 3 capture and 6 basic. 2 Capacious Bucket and 1 Sonia. For the final version, we have the same amount of energies, but we only have 1 Bucket, 1 Sonia, and 1 extra training card for Greninja. So we're down to 1 prize. If they do a boss though, and kill another boss to kill the Articuno, I don't think we can kill the Lucario. They can actually win the game by doing another boss, because we can't poison them if they don't damage our Qwilfish, and we don't have another attacker on the bench if they kill the Articuno. So that training card was actually from our opponent's hand. That means they actually are helping us with their stadium card, because we have no energy in our hand, and that means we get to still do our Qwilfish though. We can attack with Qwilfish right now for the knockout, because they are poisoned. That means they are, we're doing 100 damage with 3 Articunos on the bench. Venoshock actually does 70 plus 30 more, and then 100 damage is enough because they are poisoned. So passing the turn, they have 2 extra damage counters on the Lucario without doing Roaring Resolve. And even if they are not dead, that means they can't attack, right? They can't actually do Roaring Resolve on the next turn. But that actually buys them extra few turns to do, they can actually retreat and then attack with the second Lucario. It's actually much more difficult for us to kill the next one, because we can't poison the next one without them attacking us first. So 120 HP is pretty low for stage 1, and that actually was the reason why we get to kill them so easily. But we are meant to kill a VMAX or VSTAR deck, probably a VMAX, because we want to be killing a VMAX with 2 strikes, doing Venoshock and then Swarm the Wound for a VMAX knockout, collecting 3 prize for only 2 strikes, and all we need is 1 energy on Qwilfish and 2 energy with experience share on our Basculin, or even Raihan, Blanche for that extra 1 energy. So Irida helps us get our Basculin and experience share, which is pretty cool. And we are playing 3 copies of it in this deck. I think we have 4, I'm not too sure. 3 or 4, I just check the deck list in the description. I'm not really too sure about that. Probably 3. And right now we're up against a Frostmoth box deck. They're playing Suicune, Starmie, and they actually have a Widear as well. So Widear V helps them transfer everything. Transfer all of the... It has the Frontier ability that helps them move any amount of energy cards from their other Pokemons onto the Widear as it moves into the active spot. As it, switches into the active spot. That means Frostmoth get to attach to your water Pokemon onto the bench. It get to attach to itself, obviously. And then once you do the switch, you get to transfer everything onto the Widear. which is pretty cool. I would prefer playing a Cherim though, because Frostmoth is better, kind of, because you get to play Capacious Bucket. Bucket means you get 2 extra energies into your hand. I suppose that's probably the big plus. If you do Frostmoth though, you need an extra copy, an extra water Pokemon in your deck. If you for example have a Frostmoth in your active, and no other water Pokemon on your bench, you cannot use the ability, right? You need a lot of Snoms or a lot of like Menifee on your bench. Well, obviously all you need to do is play 4 copies of Snom, 3 Frostmoth, and 1 Menifee in your deck. And Irida is probably gonna get you either, you know, your Snom or Menifee, and then an extra, you know, maybe a Cape of Toughness or a Quick Ball for your Whiteear. And after that, all you need to do is keep on attaching your Water Energy, Capacious Bucket, obviously. I think it's better to play Irida for Capacious Bucket. And then attach the energy, Air Balloon, Retreat, Transfer, Kill. So that would be pretty interesting. So Whiteear is going to be a bit more difficult for us to kill, because they're playing Cape of Toughness. That means it has like 270 HP, is equal to kind of like a VSTAR. Not a Palkia or a Dialga, but equal to like a Samurott VSTAR or Decidueye. 270 is a lot. So they did a boss. Now all we need to do is play a research, I suppose. And since we're doing that, we should be playing a research for a Air Balloon. Either an Air Balloon or a Scoop of Net. And we got it. If we do the research though, discarding the Weepinbell, we could actually retreat with just 1 energy, so it may be easier just to focus on a 1 energy retreat. But now we actually get to play our Basculin, or maybe another Qwilfish, because it's not going to do anything for the next turn. The Basculin is not going to help us on the next turn, because they actually have no damage counter on the next Pokemon. So we need to be, you know, we need to be thinking about playing Basculin at just the right time, because if they don't have any damage counters on it, it makes no sense to play Swarm the Wound. So always do Venoshock first before playing Basculin. And now our 1 copy of Choice Belt is in the drain, no more. I would prefer playing more copies of the Choice Belt, but you know, Experience Share helps you attack with Greninja, or even Articuno. Articuno is only doing 100 base damage though. So Ice Symbol, the ability doesn't work for any of your Articunos in play. I don't think it works for Galarian Articuno either, but my bad. Galarian Articuno is not a water type, so obviously it doesn't work for Galarian Articuno. That was stupid, wasn't it? It doesn't work for any other Articunos. So if you have, for example, a Moltres from Pokemon Go, that ability, I think Fire Symbol, I think the ability is called Fire Symbol, it doesn't work for other Moltreses. For example, those, you know, your, what's it called again? Brilliant Stars Moltres. It has the 90 damage attack with 1 energy, and it's not affected by weakness or resistance. So that 1 energy attack only does 90 base. Even with your Pokemon Go Moltres on a bench, it cannot do extra damage. So here comes the Whiteear. I think they are finally playing it. Oh, not yet. Not yet. I think they're planning on doing the Greninja at some point. They should have attached the energy after playing the Irida, right? If they play the Irida for the Greninja, they could have done Moonlight Shuriken on this turn. And if they do Moonlight Shuriken, I don't think we can counter that. We got a Menifee, but they got 2 extra prize. That means they're 1 prize ahead. And we have to somehow do something to the Radiant Greninja. If they hit the Qwilfish though, they're gonna get poisoned. If they hit the Qwilfish and the Bellsprout, at least we get to play our Air Balloon Irida for another Qwilfish to kill off the Greninja probably. We're only doing 100 damage, and poison is only doing, so up to 120 damage is not enough to kill the Greninja. That means we either need to scoop up the Basculin and play another Articuno, or knock out the Greninja on the next turn, which is not good. So probably playing a Manaphy would be better. If they kill both our Qwilfish and Bellsprout with the Greninja on the last turn, this is hypothetical obviously because they didn't do that, they would be poisoned. That means we get to hit 120 at least, and then play the Manaphy for their bench protection, forcing them to play their V card to attack our Qwilfish, or boss something else for the knockout. So there's always a counter for your poison point ability. They can play Escape Rope, they can do Boss's Order, and if they play a lot of those cards, you cannot actually attack that easily. You cannot do enough damage with Venoshock, and you cannot have enough damage counters to play your Swarm the Wound for the knockout. So that's the biggest weakness of this deck, is if they play way too many bosses and escape ropes. If they keep on avoiding the Qwilfish, then we cannot actually poison them that easily because we only have 2 Bellsprouts, 2 Weepinbell and 2 Scubanet in this deck. And if they don't hit Qwilfish, I don't think we can win that easily, honestly. Unless if we play our Greninja somehow. Greninja for Raihan for Greninja. Experience Share as well. Experience Share is not going to work if they do a boss escape rope. If they play escape rope though, we can choose to attach another energy onto the second Qwilfish, and then experience share the dead energy onto the Greninja, obviously. So that means they are not only poisoned, we actually get to recover the energy onto Greninja as well. $190 damage, look at that. We did 190, and they actually only have 12 damage counter on the Starmie. Only 12 damage counter. How did we do that? So 120 plus 60, right? I think it's 13 damage counter. I think I was mistaken. 13 damage counter, that would be 130 plus 60, 190. Aqua return. They're gonna put the Widear probably. That was quite silly though, because now they have a lot less energies in play, but they don't need those energies, do they? Yeah, I think that was actually smart, my bad. That was a smart decision because they don't need a lot of damage to kill our Pokemon. They just need to play Canceling Cologne, Boss on a Manaphy to hit for extra prizes with the Moonlight Shuriken. So our main concern is to kill the Greninja at some point. But if we attack with Greninja, our own Greninja, we can collect extra prizes by killing the Frostmoth. So all we need to do is kill something right now, and then charge up Greninja while we're at it. Let's just attack with Articuno, and then hope that they kill off the Articuno for us to play the experience share. Or if they don't, you know, or we actually need to hope that they don't play Tool Scrapper as well. If they scrap our tool card, experience share is not doing anything, and Greninja doesn't have enough energies. We do have 1 copy of Blanche though. Blanche for the next turn. We may be able to attach energy that way. Never know. An extra coin flip. The lucky coin. Here comes another Irida. So they could choose to play Scoop Up Net, knowing that we have a Greninja on the bench. Scoop up the Frostmoth to deny us that extra 1 prize, because all we need is 1 final kill on anything to finish the game off. So if they scoop out the Frostmoth, we cannot win that easily. But they just played the Nessa. I think they played the Nessa. Oh, they played the Irida, my bad. They played the Irida for Luminous Sign and Luminous Sign for Nessa, which is pretty interesting. Nessa for the energy, and then Frostmoth for Widear. So we got the win. We didn't play the Blanche though. We didn't actually did the Blanche because we were overexcited to kill the Frostmoth, apparently. So 110 damage on the White Ear. So no cape on the White Ear though. I was expecting a cape. Oh well. They had a cape on the Suicune. So we did a lot of damage on the Suicune for the first hit. I think we even have a choice belt on the Qwilfish. That means we did actually a total of 170 damage with the special condition, which is a lot. And that means another Qwilfish would do for the knockout hit, even with a boss, even if they switch. I think 70 damage is enough. So 90 damage with 2 Articunos obviously would be enough to kill the Suicune, because they only have 260 HP. That's not a lot. 90 is exactly enough. So we got 2 Qwilfish and 1 VIP pass with 1 capture. That's actually a really good hand. We're gonna put a Qwilfish, play the VIP. We got an Irida. We can actually get an Articuno. I'm not sure why I'm delaying the game. I think we are, you know, we may be low on battery in the headphones, and we want to be so sometimes when I'm playing the game, my headphones just go out and I have to focus on that, because if I don't put music on my ears, I can't focus on a game. I just need music. So we're gonna do Irida for a level ball, or maybe another VIP. It would be wiser to play level ball though. So we went first. Going first means we get to play Irida for the Weepinbell evolution, doing our first knockout with Venoshock, and then Scoop Up Net if we have it in our hand, but we don't have those cards. If we have either Scoop Up Net or level ball already in our hand, that would be great. But I think we should really be getting a Radiant Greninja at some point, so that we get to draw them out as fast as possible. Are we gonna play another VIP? Because I know they have an Avery, but we don't actually need that much damage though. They are playing a fire type. We don't need a lot of damage to kill the Charizard, honestly. We just need 2 Articunos, that's enough. 90 damage with Venoshock. I think 80 damage would be enough, because we are poisoning their active as well. So we just need 1 Articuno actually. 1 Articuno and Qwilfish poison. That would be enough to kill the Charizard. But our saving grace for this game is obviously Radiant Greninja. So focus on Radiant Greninja. They have a Manaphy, so all we need to do is kill the Manaphy early. They may just rot it back, but I don't think they would be wasting the rot on nothing but Manaphy. They would be waiting for the Charizard to die, because if we kill the Charizard one at a time, it is a stage 2 card. They are attacking with stage 2 Pokemon, so I don't think they stand a good chance at winning. We are attacking with basic, and we just need to play Rot and resummon it. If we rot it at the last minute, we can summon it quickly with either Irida or Level Ball or even Quick Ball. We have a lot of balls in this deck. We can, you know, instantly bench it right after shuffling into the deck. Whereas for them, they need to shuffle and then do the Rare Candy evolution, so it's actually pretty difficult for them. And if they play the Rot for the Manaphy, they won't have enough attackers, they won't have enough Charizards to collect enough prizes for the win, because they need at least 6 Charizards to kill for the 6th prize. So 6 Charizards is a lot. I don't think they stand a chance at winning at all without doing a boss. They need to do a boss on either the Bellsprout if we have it on the bench, or the Greninja / Articuno, because we can still attach our energy onto Articuno Greninja for the knockout hit. So they need to do a boss at the perfect time. If they boss whatever Pokemon, then they can avoid the poison condition. That means Qwilfish is not doing a knockout. Qwilfish is not gonna kill the Charizard. That means they get to survive an extra turn to collect another prize with the same Charizard. So I think that would be, you know, the goal for them. The ideal case. They actually discarded the Cynthia and the Marnie though. That was quite unlucky of them because they discarded the Marnie. I know why they discarded the Marnie, because they know it's not gonna give them anything. Like, I know Marnie. I just know Marnie. I know Marnie really well. So I think they're trying to play... I think they already have a Snorlax in their hand, and they're trying to discard the Marnie to get an energy. Because if they have an energy, they can retreat to play Gormandize. But they got no energy, and they actually played the Leon. That means they can't play the Cynthia. So they chose to play the Quick Ball to discard the Cynthia for the Snorlax instead. And I think that's a big mistake, because you should be keeping the Cynthia, honestly. Well, they can still draw with Chinchino though, right? And we're not doing a knockout, so I suppose... Yeah, I suppose it's smarter to keep to play the Snorlax. It's kind of the same thing, because you're only drawing 2 cards with Chinchino and 3 extra cards from the deck. You're kind of searching the top 3 with your Charizard, Battle Sense, and they actually get to play Research. Okay, that's a lot more cards than Cynthia. That's a lot more cards than Cynthia. I stand corrected. Okay, let's play the Water Energy onto Greninja. They're not playing the Rod anytime soon, I don't think. So if we get a double knockout on the next turn, that'd be great. Unfortunately, we are not killing the Chinchino, because we got no Weepinbell, no way of poisoning their active. If we have a Hypnotoxic Laser, we would be able to play it by now. There's gonna be a Parasect. A Parasect that allows you to poison and hypnotize. I don't like the word hypnotize. Poison and Spore, both active Pokemon. So if you're asleep, you can't actually attack, obviously, and you actually have to pass the turn flipping the coin. If you flip a heads, you can attack on the next turn. But we have Mechanical Arm now. Mechanical Arm allows you to, well, not now, but on the next set. Mechanical Arm allows you to attack even if you're asleep or paralyzed. So there's going to be a Hisuian Electrode V as well, and obviously that card is meant for Hisuian Electrode, because we have Parasect to basically put special condition onto our own active Pokemon so that Electrode gets to do more damage, because it is doing 100x damage for each special condition on itself. That means if you can somehow burn or somehow, you know, confuse, well, you can't confuse it, you have to burn it. If you can find a way to burn your active Electrode, you actually get to do 300 damage for only a basic V card, which is pretty cool. I'm not sure about the attack cost. I think it's only 2 energy attack. For a basic attacker, doing 300 damage is a lot, and you actually only need 30 more damage to kill a VMAX. Any VMAX, unless you're doubling Eternatus, obviously. So VMAX, killing a VMAX with a basic V is very strong. And all we need is a Radiant Hawlucha on the bench. We can't actually play Choice Belt, unfortunately, because Choice Belt doesn't work since we already are attaching a tool card. Mechanical Arm needs to be played, because we cannot attack if we have no Mechanical Arm attached. It is asleep. We are forcing ourselves to go to sleep, unless if we are playing something like a Yellhorn, in which case we would be flipping the coin anyways. So it would be better just to use Mechanical Arm instead of like Yellhorn, because you are replacing the sleep condition with confusion, and that's not really good because you are gambling on the coin flip. Okay, right now we have 3 prizes remaining. They haven't drawn a single prize, but they're gonna do it now. We actually got 2 prizes with our Greninja on the last turn, which is pretty great. So no Manaphy. Now they're gonna kill the Greninja though. No more Greninja. If we can somehow play the Rod to revive our Radiant Greninja, we may be able to use it again on the next turn. Well, not on the next turn, but later on in the game, obviously, because it needs 3 more energies. That means we need either a Raihan or a Blanche in addition to the experience share. So it needs 3 energies, and they may do a boss before we are able to hit it. So we got the Weepinbell, thank God. We get to kill the Charizard right now. All we need to do is scoop on that and, you know, bench the Bellsprout on last turn. So if you can bench 2 Bellsprouts, make sure you do that. If you don't need that much damage, if you're playing a fire type or like a low HP basic Pokemon, a Met Party card, you know, 90 HP Pokemon, all you need to do is bench 2 Bellsprouts and then evolve, do Venoshock for 70 damage. 70 is enough. You don't need Articuno even. 70 enough to kill a Lunatone with your Dangerous Mucus. But obviously, if they play Lunatone, I don't think we can win that easily. They can attack every single turn very, very easily. It's super fast. And we need to play our Scoop on that every single turn. It's not that easy. If they don't do a boss though, we can actually do Venoshock with Poison Point. We can poison them with our ability though. We can use Qwilfish to poison their Lunatone after they kill our active Pokemon. So they need to keep on playing a boss. And, you know, we can actually, we may have enough turns to recover our Weepinbell's ability with our Irida Scoop on that onto the bench. So we don't need to play our Articuno. I think it's better to focus on nothing but Qwilfish, because we're not even doing enough damage with our Basculin to kill the Lunatone. If we play Greninja, they're probably going to play Menifee anyway, so it may not be wise to bench a Greninja. But since we are not playing Articuno, let's just do it, right? It may be, you know, smarter to do a Greninja experience share on a bench rather than your Articuno. And then, obviously, 2 Bellsprouts, Evolve, Poison Burn, Venoshock over and over, Scoop on that. I think we actually stand a pretty good chance against Lunatone. All we need to do is collect our first prize, and then, you know, don't break the flow. All we need to do is play the right cards at the right time. It would be pretty risky because we only have 2 Scoop on that in the deck. Only 2 Scoop on it. Even if we do bench 2 Bellsprouts, we may not be able to get the level ball in time. We may not be able to, you know, get the Scoop on that at the right time. It's quite risky still because we only have 3 Irida for item cards. We may get research instead. And we have so many basic summons. We have so many Sonia, Gloria, only 1 copy, but obviously we have a lot of basic summons. VIP Pass, Level Ball, Quick Ball, Capture, Sonia, Gloria. Way too many balls, honestly. And if we don't get the Scoop on that, if we can't search it in time, we may not be able to attack. We may be passing 1 entire turn doing nothing, not doing the knockout, and that's enough for them to win the game. All they need is for us to pass 1 turn. That's all Lunatone needs. Lunatone can draw a prize every fucking turn. It's way too consistent. So here comes the boss. And now we need some way of knocking out the Charizard. But I don't think they can attack though. They need an energy. Okay, they just milled themselves to death. They have no cards in their deck. So we actually won because they didn't shuffle their deck. They just decided to kill themselves. They got a Rod in the deck, but they chose not to use it because they know we can kill the Charizard quite easily with our Articuno. Even if they kill the Weepinbell, even if they don't kill the Qwilfish, they eventually have to, because they're going to run out their boss. They eventually have to deal with the Qwilfish. If they don't attack the Qwilfish, they cannot draw the prize. If they kill the Qwilfish, we can do Venoshock on the next turn to kill the Charizard for an extra prize. And all we need is 1 last prize, right? All we need is 1 last prize. So slowly charge up the Articuno to kill the Snorlax or something else. Or even just wait until they deck out, because they have very few cards left in the deck and no more Charmanders on the bench. So they decided to just commit suicide. Poker suicide. Okay, right now we're up against a Malamar Rapid Strike deck. They got Octillery, Sobble, Inteleon. I think they have Drizzile but no Inteleon. I'm not sure what they're playing, honestly. They may be playing only one copy of the Shady Inteleon. So let's see. Brawly is a really good card because you get to set up your bench early. If you don't get Brawly, you may be able to get Tower of Waters for your Sobble instead. So Sobble can actually search your deck for 3 basic Pokemons, 3 Rapid Strike basic Pokemons, and then put them onto your bench directly with the Keep Calling attack. Only 1 colorless, which is pretty cool. That means you get to use your Psychic Energy for your Sobble to bench extra Pokemons into play on the first turn, going second. So all you need is a Tower of Waters. All they need is 1 energy and 1 Tower of Waters, but they couldn't do it for some reason because no Octillery. So Tower of Waters is not that easy to get into your hand on the first turn, obviously, because it is a stadium. Let's just do our research because we need the Weepinbell. If we can kill the Inkay right now, we should be doing it, right? We should be killing we didn't get it though. That's quite sad. Are we gonna get the level ball with our concealed cards? Let's hope so. We got 2 level ball, but we didn't get it. Sorry, we got 4 level ball and 2 Weepinbell, but we didn't get either of those cards. 6 copies though. 6 copies out of 37 cards, I think. 36 cards. So it is quite unlikely, I suppose. Only 6 out of 36 is... We have a lot of cards left in the deck, that's what I'm trying to say. And I don't think it's that easy to draw the level ball. We did play a research though, so I don't know. We tried our best. Okay, here comes Shady. Are they gonna play... So early in the game, I don't think they can hit that much damage with Inteleon. So if they do Drizzile, chances are they're gonna have a lot of items in the deck, like level ball, and if they play too many level balls way too early, if they use up their level balls, that means they can't do Shady anymore. They can't play Drizziles. They can't use Drizzile that easily, and they're gonna end up with, you know, no cards in their hand. Because if your opponent plays a boss, you know, if your opponent, my bad, if they don't get their Drizzile, your opponent just needs to not play a Marnie, right? Because you're emptying your hand with your Rapid Strike Tentacles. If you don't shuffle enough cards into the deck, you cannot do a knockout. So if you're shuffling way too many cards, if you don't have a Drizzile in your hand or a level ball, then you're done for. So they actually chose to scoop up the Drizzile, leaving nothing but Malamar in play, which is very, very silly, because now we can kill it. All we need to do is Poison Burn, and then Venoshock. We even got extra damage with 3 Articunos on the bench. We're doing 130 plus 40 more on the last turn. So we get to do 170 damage, killing off the Malamar, a stage 1 prize card, winning the game with no bench. They actually killed themselves by doing the Scoop Up Net, but I think they needed the Scoop Up Net to do the knockout. Because they're playing Drizzile, that means they don't have as many Rapid Strike Pokemons, Rapid Strike cards in their hand with tentacles to do the knockout hit. They need 4. That's the good thing about Qwilfish, is that it is 90 HP instead of the regular 80 HP. So 80 HP for Basculin, but Qwilfish is a solid 90 HP Pokemon. That means they need 3. They need to shuffle 3 Rapid Strike cards to be able to kill your Qwilfish. And as I said, early on in the game, it's not that easy. If they don't get their supporter card, if they don't get their... they need to be playing a research though, right? If they don't get enough cards in their hand, they should be doing a research for Remoraid to not only bench a Remoraid, but get extra cards to shuffle in the deck with Tentacles for the knockout. So Tentacles and also Remoraid on the bench is going to help them a lot. So I don't know why they shaded for a Scoop Up Net instead. They should be shading for a supporter card, but I don't think they have a... They may not have a research. They may have something like a Cynthia, Karina's Focus, and they already have a lot of cards in their hand. I don't think you get to play Ultra Ball because you need those Drizziles. You need those non-Rapid Strike cards in your hand or inside the deck. if you don't have them, if you already used them up, if you have discarded them already, you cannot actually help yourself later on. It needs to show up at the right time for you to play your Cynthia after the knockout. If you don't do Cynthia, if you're not able to Shady at the right time, you're done for. So against a 1 price, I don't think Malamar has a good chance. Kind of the same as Lucario, because we are playing a 1 energy attacker and we can attack every single turn. All we need to do is hope they don't boss way too many times. If they keep on bossing the Bellsprout and avoid hitting our Qwilfish, then we may not be able to have enough damage in the game, because Venoshock is only doing 10 base plus 10 more obviously for each Articuno, but Venoshock is doing much less damage and we don't want that to happen. We cannot afford for that to happen for way too many turns. Eventually they have to hit the Qwilfish though, so we may have that extra one, at least one time Venoshock without doing a Weepinbell. This deck is meant for VMAXs, not for V-Stars. But we actually won against the Citywide V-Star earlier because they are playing a Stage 2 support, a Swampert support, which is not really that powerful in a sense. They got Irida though. They got Irida for the Rare Candy, the Cheat Evolution. And Star Fortune for the first draw. Reading Greninja as well, pretty cool. And now we're up against a Weezing Sableye. So Weezing is going to be a bit more difficult to get past, because they are shutting down not just Weepinbell's ability, but also Qwilfish doesn't get to use Poison Point even if they damage us, because they are using special conditions. Weezing is poisoning our Pokemon. That means they not only get to get through our ability with the special condition with the effect of an attack, but they also get to lock our ability with their neutralizing gas. And Articuno is not helping us because Venoshock, neutralizing gas is shutting down our ice symbol as well. That means Venoshock is only doing 10 damage. And we cannot kill the Weezing with anything but Articuno. We have to attach energy to Articuno. We have to slowly invest enough time, enough energies on that one copy of Articuno to eventually knock out the Weezing. So Weezing is going to be a big problem. They are playing Sableye though, so I don't think it's that easy for them to win the game either. So they have the advantage of Weezing, while we have the advantage of the 1 prize. We should be charging up the Articuno from the start. I don't know why I did that. So we retreated to the Qwilfish and did 10 damage. So all we need to do is collect enough damage counters on their active to place Swarm the Wound at the last minute to kill off the Weezing. But I forgot that Swarm the Wound is only doing 30 base. That means Articuno is not helping you do extra damage with Swarm the Wound. So we actually have to attach the energy to Articuno. We cannot afford to wait an extra turn. That was a big mistake right there. So Experience Share is going to help us. Blanche probably on the next turn. We don't have an extra energy in the discard pile. Oh, we do. We do have an extra energy. So we may be able to do the retreat. If we retreat with Basculin, we may be able to attach an extra copy of energy from the discard pile with Blanche to do our, I forgot the attack, Frost Typhoon, I don't know what it's called, but to do 110 damage on the Weezing is not even enough though. We need 10 more damage to kill off the Weezing. And they just bossed our Articuno. That's terrible. Now we need to find our Air Balloon. We can't do Air Balloon though. We got Escape Rope, that's great, thank God. Air Balloon is gonna help us retreat, but we already attached our Experience Share. That means Articuno cannot retreat with that tool card. Okay, we're gonna hit with Weepinbell right now. Let's hope we got our second copy inside the deck. It could be prized, and we just discarded the first one with Research. So that's the bad thing about research. We are only playing one copy though, and we do have one rod to shuffle cards back into the deck to shuffle back our Pokemons if we discard too much with our research. There we go, we got the Weepinbell, and now we get to hit 100 plus damage with Venoshock, only 10 extra with our Articuno, but that's okay. We get to use our ability once more because Weezing is on the bench. And let's do our Blanche right now. And we got it. We got our energy. That's great. We should be doing on Articuno. What am I doing? Articuno, come on. No. Why did I do that? Okay, I guess it's the same thing if we get an energy on the next turn, but we may not get the energy though. If we don't get an energy from the deck, because we have no supporter cards to draw as well, if they play the Weezing, then we can't attack with Articuno. We need to be attacking with Articuno. Okay, they did the Slowking. They did the Word of Ruin. That means we get to play our Basculin right now. I keep calling it Basculin. Sorry, apologies. It's Basculin. We get to collect the knockout with Basculin, Swarm the Wound for 2 prize, and then we have to deal with the Weezing at some point. How are we going to do that? We at least get to draw 2 prize. Let's hope we get energies. And if we pass the turn attacking with our Basculin, is going to get knocked out with the special condition, so I don't think we have a choice but to retreat and attack with the Qwilfish, the other Qwilfish, the clean one, and then rod back the energies, hoping to draw them into our hand with either a Capacious Bucket or Irida. I think we already used our bucket though. I'm not too sure. We should be getting our supporter cards by now. I'm not sure what's happening. No supporter cards, nothing. They're playing Gardevoir, so they have a really weird box going on. They got Galarian Slowking for Word of Ruin, no Galarmine apparently. They got Weezing for the ability lock, and they got Sableye, a very obvious combo, Weezing Sableye, and Hisuian Qwilfish for the extra poison condition, 50 damage, 5 damage counter for 0 energies, which is pretty interesting, and they got Gardevoir for the energy. They just need Dark Patch though. Why are they playing Kirlia Gardevoir? It makes no sense. They may be playing Gallade instead. Gallade from Astral Radiance, helping them search for any supporter card from the deck, because they play so many Pokemons. They have so many Pokemons in the deck, and they may be using that ability to search for supporter cards instead, helping them do like a boss or Raihan at just the right time. So I think it's probably a Gallade. I don't know, honestly. They actually didn't evolve throughout the entire game, so we have no idea if it's a Gardevoir or if it's a Gallade. I don't know what they're playing. It could be Prize though. They may just have, maybe they are only playing 2 routes, 2 Kirlia, 1 rare candy. Well, it makes no sense to play 2 Kirlia. 2 routes, 1 Kirlia, 2 rare candy, and like 1 Gallade. I don't know, maybe. If they have 2 Gallades, it could be priced. Both of them, you never know. Okay, we're doing Venoshock for 10 more damage, and we just pass the turn. Now we just need to wait for that 1 energy on Articuno. Are we gonna get it from the top deck? I don't think so. Doesn't seem like we're getting anything. So Blanche only draws you 2 cards, that's a bad thing. Even though you're adding an extra energy from the discard pile, you know, not drawing energies from the deck means you kind of are, you know, slowing yourself down back to this, you know, back to square one. So adding that extra energy is basically not doing anything. It's kind of, well, we got the energy now. We should be playing the Articuno. Unfortunately, we didn't do that. Well, we didn't get to use experience share. I just realized that because they are poisoning our active. So poison means experience share doesn't work. If they knock out your active Pokemon with special conditions or effects of attack, experience share doesn't get to you know, doesn't allow you to move the energy from your active onto your bench. That tool card doesn't work. It has to be damage done by your opponent's active Pokemon. Are we gonna bench the Articuno? I don't know what to do, honestly. We should be playing Greninja, but I don't know if we're gonna draw another energy. Let's just keep the energy and kill off the Weezing on the next turn with our Articuno. If they do the boss, I don't think they can kill the Articuno with the Weezing, but they can quite easily switch and then Crazy Claws on the Articuno. So I'm quite scared right now. If they do Crazy Claws on the Articuno, we got the second one. So we chose not to attach the energy on this turn, because if they Marnie, we're probably gonna get a supporter anyways. I think we already attached it. I don't know what happened just now. We may have already attached our energy. My bad. Okay, now we need an air balloon or a switch. If we don't get anything, we're done for. We got a Cynthia, and we're not able to draw anything even after they kill our Pokemon, because they didn't knock out our Pokemon on their last turn. They actually kill our Pokemon during Pokemon checkup, and that means Cynthia doesn't actually help you draw extra cards on the next turn. So now they actually get to poison another Pokemon. I'm really scared of the switch boss. If they switch and boss the Articuno, I don't know what to do, honestly. Because we cannot kill the Weezing, we cannot deal with the Sableye. It's virtually impossible. We got that one Weepinbell though. We actually shuffled back our Weepinbell, now we got it. And we get to Venoshock if they boss our Articuno, I suppose. And now we actually have to put another Pokemon in the active, which sucks a lot. We have no choice but to put the Qwilfish, because Basculin is gonna die. Weezing is basically destroying us right now. Weezing is totally disrupting our strategy completely, because we have to attach energy one at a time to our Articuno. Not even experience share works. Blanche helped us, and we should have attached that one extra energy onto our Articuno on the last turn. But if we did that though, we couldn't kill the Slowking, so I don't think there's any other way to play this game. I think we did our best just now, honestly. No regrets. And they just got another free knockout. And we just played the Weepinbell, hoping for an energy to retreat. Okay, there we go. I think, yeah, we got the retreat, we got a knockout at least. Because if we pass another turn, giving them the poison kill, then they got 3 prize remaining, and they actually get to poison another Pokemon. We cannot afford for that to happen. So we have to draw either the energy or the scoop up net, and we chose to scoop up the we got both, and we chose to recycle our Bellsprout and retreat for the knockout, because if we scoop up the Qwilfish, we can save ourselves from a Zigzagoon knockout. They may have a Zigzagoon at some point, but we may not be able to use our Venoshock on the next turn, because they are killing the Articuno. That means we need to play Venoshock. We have no choice. So now we just need to kill the Sableye, right? Venoshock, Swarm the Wound to collect the final 2 prize. They got no more Weezing. Even if they have another Weezing, we're gonna do a boss for the final kill. If they do Ascension though, I'm gonna be quite pissed. If they do Ascension, I don't know what to say. We got Articuno, right? If they do Ascension, we got Articuno to deal with the Weezing in the active. And then eventually boss a Kirlia for the win, because we got 1 prize remaining after knocking out the Weezing. Now we got our Bruno to draw the energy. We just need to discard something from our hand. We're gonna play the Greninja. We're gonna remove the Gloria, and then play the Bruno after that, because we need to be emptying our hand as much as we can. We actually discarded the Menifee instead, and chose to bench the Articuno, because I don't think Greninja is gonna help us because we have 18 cards left in the deck. Not a lot of energies remaining. And we do have training card though, thank god. We have a lot of supporter cards as well. So I don't think we need the Greninja at all. We got a lot of supporter cards inside the deck because we didn't draw them for so long, which is pretty ridiculous. For some reason, if you're playing against a V deck, you won't be getting your supporter cards. Even if you have like 10 or 11 supporter cards in your deck, playing a 1 prize, for some reason they don't want you to get your supporter cards. A 1 prize deck is, I don't know, the algorithm favors V decks. If you play V, the chances of you getting the right cards, Marnie at the right time, boss, the chances of you drawing them is much higher. I don't know why. It's just built that way. Because we have enough supporter cards in this deck. And even if we don't get our supporter, we got Greninja for a cheat draw. Or even Irida. Irida is a supporter card though. Or even, if we just need our balls really. If we have an energy in our hand, we're good. We just need a level ball to get either Weepinbell or another Qwilfish, and we're good. So we don't really need a lot of things. If we don't get our supporter cards, chances are we would be getting already an air balloon in our hand or an energy as well. So all we need is air balloon energy. That's it. Right? We got enough basic summons to bench our Pokemon early in the game, and all we need to do is keep on attaching energy. Retreat with the air balloon for Basculin to do extra damage with Blanche or experience share. So all we need is energies really. If we fit in more energies into the deck, it may be actually helping us a lot more than playing that many supporter cards. I would prefer having more energies in this deck because supporters are just not showing up. So let's play the training card, and we just need to wait for the boss really. We're gonna training card for the energy, and then Radiant Greninja draw out the boss. I'm not sure if it's wise though to do that, because eventually we're gonna run out of our energies. If they play a stadium card or a Pumpkaboo, we cannot retrieve them from the discard pile anymore. Training card may just last for that 1 turn, and we already played our Rod, so we may not have enough energies to discard. I don't think it's wise to play the ability right now, because all we need to do is do a Marnie for the boss. We may not get the boss though with the Marnie if we don't use the ability. So we're gonna attach the energy to Articuno, we weren't aware that we have no more water energy in the deck. Articuno needs 2 water and 1 colorless, and it's only doing 100 damage as well. So 110 is not enough to kill the Qwilfish, the Overquill, my bad. We need 2 strikes, and they are actually poisoning us on their turn. That means we got only 1 strike, right? We can only attack once. So they are playing Galar Mine because they have Slowking, and they actually did it this turn. That means we cannot retrieve any more water energies from the discard pile. We're done for. We got the boss though. All we need to do is somehow retreat or switch. We got no more escape rope. Air balloon's not gonna work. So we have to wait for Articuno to get knocked out before we're able to play our boss. What's gonna happen? We just need to play Basculin for the final kill. If they somehow crushing hammer that 1 water energy, we're done for. We even got the air balloon. So attaching the experience share was a big mistake because we didn't get to use the experience share throughout the entire game. It was definitely a big mistake. Because if they attack with anything but the Sableye, experience share is not working. So we're trying to draw as many cards from the deck so that if they play a Marnie, somehow we would be drawing back the boss. Hopefully, I don't know. If they do a Marnie, we're done for, because they would be killing our Articuno and also putting back the boss at the bottom. And there's no way we can draw more cards with Greninja because we got no more energies but that one capture. Okay, they are playing a Gardevoir. I wasn't aware that they evolved to the stage 2. Sorry about that. It's not a Gallade, it's a Gardevoir. And it's helping them charge up the Sableye. But they don't need the Gardevoir though. We got Dark Patch, like come on. We got Dark Patch for Astral Radiance. There's no need for Gardevoir. Stage 2 draw support is not good, because that means you have to wait an extra turn just to play the rare candy. Or you may not even get it at the right time. So stage 2 draw support is never a good idea unless if it helps you attach energy. You know, the necessary energy. I mean, Dark type, you should be playing Dark Patch. Come on. We got the boss, we got the kill, and we won a game against Sableye Weezing. That was very tricky though, because Weezing was a big block, wasn't it? It was a big roadblock for us, and we need to somehow remove that card, remove that that trap, that terrible trap. And we have nothing but Articuno to damage it, which is pretty terrible. So right now we're up against a Rapid Strike Hecklin with Super Effective Glass. We're gonna leave you guys to focus on the game and leave the voiceover right here. Hope you guys enjoyed this new combo. Today we are featuring the new Articuno from Pokemon Go, the Ice Symbol ability helping you do 10 more damage for all of your basic water type Pokemon's attacks for each Articuno you have in play. So Qwilfish gets to do 70 base damage with Venoshock if your opponent's active Pokemon is poisoned, and we have our Weepinbell to do Dangerous Mucus to poison and burn our opponent's active Pokemon. We even have our Basculin to do Swarm Doon for 10 more damage for each damage counter on your opponent's active Pokemon, plus 60 more if you have 3 Articunos on the bench, helping us kill off our opponent's VSTAR and VMAX Pokemon after doing our Venoshock. So that's all for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. We'll see you next time. Have a great day and bye for now, lovely people. Enjoy your life.
Where's my Pokemon?
Your Pokemon?
Yes, I'm ready.
You look like you're ready for bed, not for Pokemon trading. I hope you don't think you're going to trade in your pajamas.
Oh, no, Professor. I got messed up this morning and I was a little late.
Welcome back. Wow. Wonderful. Oh, 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 oh. Perfect. You were close. You were close. You were close. Wonderful. See you. See you. See you.
rises and sets, and we take that for granted. It's only natural. But it's those things that we take for granted that are essential, and they're precious. Remember what I said? I said I would go with you, no matter how far. We're going to survive, and we're going to find the truth. I promise. Come on, let's go. I'll always stick with you.